Welcome back to Nighttime. As always, I'm your host, Kathleen Moore, and alongside me is... Wait, where's Matthew? Unfortunately, Matthew has come down with a case of the sniffles, but we must go on. He's prepared a written statement that he would like me to read, so here we go. Hello, Nighttime fans. This is Matthew Racker, or as our TikTok commenters like to call me, Ultimate Non-Ball Knower. The glory of UCF football has transcended my mind to a point where my physical form can no longer hold it and has fallen old and frail. That or Kathleen poisoned me so she can be solo host. That's not true, by the way. I will return to the show one day, but my many hot takes and top 5 lists, and until that day, know these things are true. Jaden Nixon is a dog. I know more ball than half the AP voters, and Andrew Montana transferred to Arizona State, and they immediately started looking like bums. And that's not a coincidence. On with the show. Okay, it's me again, guys. I've got a great show for you today. UCF football is 2-0, and we already have a new starter and so much more. Let's just jump right into this game in the season opener versus Jacksonville State. We're getting started in Q4. It was tragic, not exciting before that moment. Taven Jackson took the snap and rolled out of the pocket like prime Aaron Rodgers. Passed it to tight end Dylan Wade. They couldn't even touch him, and he ran it in for the touchdown. We're all tied up in the fourth. UCF trying to pull ahead in the last minute of the game. Jackson takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls out again, and hurls a 40-yard pass going deep. It's caught for the touchdown by DJ Black, and UCF is going to take this one 17-10. Taven Jackson is the GOAT. I'm convinced. Another rainy game means it's time to unleash the run. But first, Jaden Nixon, he's going to return the kick and get through the first wave of defenders. Nixon shakes a man off his leg, and Nixon just one man to beat, but he's not going to get him. There's a reason they play in the FCS. Jaden Nixon, he's going to take it all the way to the house. What a start. Very next drive now, 4th down, Taven Jackson's going to roll out and find Dwayne Thomas Jr. at the 1-yard line. Jackson will run it in on the next play, no big deal. We're going to move to defense now. North Carolina A&T quarterback Champ Long lobs it up on the back foot, but it's picked up by Jaden McDonald, the Virginia Tech transfer. UCF is going to capitalize and score again on this one. It's Jackson on the quarterback keeper, and he is going to get the touchdown here. UCF is on fire right now. In QB1, he is looking really good, really solid. Now, North Carolina A&T backed up. Champ Long is going down, and he's going to score. All 3 phases of the game on point to start, and the defense, 11 TFLs in this one. Absolutely ridiculous here. But they get the score, so shout out. Now Jaden Nixon starting out the second quarter looking like prime RJ Harvey turning on the Jets, and he is gone. Nixon has crazy speed, and he'll get on the board again. Oh my God, watch this. He's going to hit the where my hug at and celebrate with the Huzz. Menace. Thank you, Matthew. Let's go to second half. Jakari Brown in the game. We know he can move, but it's Nixon keeping again, and he breaks free again. 4 carries, 156 yards, 3 total touchdowns for Nixon. He looked unstoppable against these Farmers. Nobody's keeping their scholarships, that's for sure. Late third, Brown getting a good bit of reps, and he makes the most of it, breaking through the line, and Brown is gone. Another UCF touchdown. Brown would score 2 as UCF beats North Carolina A&T 68-7. Insert 6-7 joke. Thank you, Matthew. That was wonderful. Okay, so very exciting 2 weeks for UCF football, and joining me to talk about what went down in these last 2 weeks is HTF main show host and executive producer Nick Cohen. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. Fantastic job with those VOs. You must need some water. I'm here to help though. Yes, thanks for having me.
So excited to have you. So I think we should just get right into it. What do you think, Nick?
I'm down.
Okay, so we're going to start. What do you think about Taven Jackson starting over Fancher now? You know, obviously there's a lot of story behind that. Cam Fancher went down, you know, in the first game of the season versus Jacksonville State, and Taven Jackson, he jumped in and he started looking really good. So just what are your thoughts?
I think this is the right move, and I think it should have happened from the start. And I know that you and Matthew agreed as well. I know Edgar Rodriguez, our host of the ESPN pregame show, agreed as well. Cam Fancher was not the guy. Taven Jackson is the guy. Granted, you know, he didn't start that game, but he came in and he started last game, and he has 471 passing yards on the season, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's looked really, really good for UCF. So I think that should have been the move from the jump.
You know, I tend to agree with you, Nick. Taven Jackson, he just had more mobility than Cam Fancher did from the start. So I'm really happy with this move. Me and Matthew really got what we wanted. Thank goodness.
And think of how good we would have looked in the first game had Taven Jackson been training with the starters from the jump.
That's true. So exciting looks ahead. Now, Nick, what happened with the slow start versus Jacksonville State? Do you chalk it all up to Cam Fancher being the starter to get us kicked off?
Yes and no. I don't think it's all directly Cam Fancher, but we had 63 new players on the team. And then you the starting quarterback that had been training, as I mentioned, with the ones, he's out. And now you have a new guy stepping in with not as much chemistry as Fancher did, although it didn't really seem like that. I blame it on that. Having so many new starters, week one, you have to expect some growing pains. And also Jacksonville State, we could have had easier week ones. Jacksonville State is a respectable team. They just won week two, and they were Conference USA champions.
I totally agree. And now for our last question, UCF abandoned the passing game sort of in week two versus North Carolina A&T. Do you really kind of chalk that up to just us being a faster, more physical team than what they could produce?
We might be. I mean, speaking of fast, Jaden Nixon, he is lightning fast, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, as you said, in the VO. This run game, you can't do the pass game if our run game is so good. As you mentioned, though, they abandoned it week two because week one, we had over 300 yards passing, and we didn't have that at all last season. So in week two, I wasn't surprised to see us use the pass game less, try and get the run game going, so that now, if the pass game was good week one, run game was good week two, by week three we should have both facets of the game up and running.
Who's to say we can't bring it all together? But Nick, thank you so much for coming on. That's going to do it for segment one, and in the next segment, we are going to move on to do a nighttime classic. Don't go anywhere.
Never got me anything for my birthday.
I don't even know what that is. I thought birthdays were every 100 years like the Kids' Choice Awards.
What?
Finally, he's here, man. He's always late.
Who? Marcus?
You good? I'd give them one of these, and one of these.
Behind every on-screen moment is a whole team of engineers and technologists.
And you can be a part of such a team through SMPTE at UCF. You'll join a team of students just like you who are ready to innovate the future of TV and film.
With SMPTE at UCF, you'll be able to connect with local industry pros, learn about new technology in the industry, as well as get backstage experience that really matters. Join SMPTE for a backstage pass to all of this.
We meet every last Monday of the month for our general body meetings. There, we discuss how new technology is being used to create new media, and we get to highlight local professionals and their specialties.
On top of that, we have some site visits planned, so tune into our social media to be notified of when those will happen.
So if you're ready to pull back the curtain and find out what really happens behind the scenes, join SMPTE at UCF.
And we are back. Welcome to the rundown. You know the rules. I've got 1 minute for each topic, so let's go ahead and get this started. All right, let's start out with UCF women's soccer. They're 5-1 to start out their season, which I believe is the best start in program history in a very long time. They've taken down some really experienced teams like UMiami, LSU, UF, and their only loss was actually in their space game very recently to FIU. Men's soccer starting out sitting at 1-3-1, which it's not as promising, but hopefully they can turn it around. And UCF soccer is featured on ESPN Sports Center Top 10 several times, including most recently in August of 2025 for a goal by Liz Warden, which was the third-ranked play on the list. Shout out. Next up, let's talk about 2K bringing back college basketball. After the success of College Football 25, it looks like college basketball will be getting the video game treatment. 2K Sports announced last week that it would be heading the new project on the same day EA announced that they would not be working on a college basketball game, even though they previously said that they would. Apparently, more schools were willing to work with 2K due to the success of the NBA games, which does make sense. The statement read, 2K is working on a college basketball experience that will feature more than 100 programs from across the country, from powerhouses to Cinderella stories. They say a game should be on its way in 2027. Personally, I'm not quite sure how to feel. The last college basketball game was made by EA in 2009, and 2K claims to have been trying to get college basketball back for a while, but only in the form of a DLC for its NBA games. A DLC that would only feature 16 teams, so not super awesome. This new report, though, it states that more than 100 colleges will participate, so let's hope that that's the case. I'm just glad there will be a new college basketball game, and I can't wait to put Jizzle James on UCF. That was a message from Matthew. Hope you enjoyed it. Topic 3, let's go. Shout out the Unks. So all the Unks out there making their college debut, we have a 58-year-old freshman named Tom Sillo, who is playing as a defensive lineman for the Lycoming College Warriors. That's so cool. We also have another 66-year-old freshman at LSU, except he's not playing D-line, he's playing tuba for the Tiger Band. Could be pretty cool. You know, it's so interesting. I love seeing all these Unks fulfilling their dreams, having such a wonderful college experience, and hey, they're getting their education along with it, so shout out. Topic 4, UCF volleyball is 5-1, and their only loss is to UMiami, and all 3 sets were only lost by 2 points. UMiami, as we know, they are frequent NCAA tournament visitors, so this is kind of a big deal for them to have only lost in all of these sets by 2 points, but UCF volleyball has had a fantastic start. You know, they won their exhibition match versus USF, which drew a huge, massive crowd. And then from there, we've obviously been doing non-conference play, but it's been going really well. The team looks really good, and we have the height on our side this season with multiple players standing over 6 feet tall. Shout out. All right, let's move on. Bye-bye, Natty. So let's talk about what we know about the Ohio State investigation with Joe Lieberger. The school investigated a quality control coach who was fired for violations of Ohio State's non-discrimination, harassment, and sexual misconduct policies. However, that investigation reportedly ended before or around December of 2024, so timing really matters on whether they're finding any overlap with eligibility or competition-related rules. Ohio State has self-reported several minor violations in recent years. For example, recruiting violations involving contacts before someone was in the transfer portal, edits to recruit-related graphics, booster contact violations, inappropriate social media posts, etc. They're considered the least severe classifications under NCAA rules, often isolated or limited in nature, and typically result in minimal or no serious sanctions. And then most of their self-reported violations are minor level 3 violations, which historically don't carry a vacating title as a penalty. The violations don't seem to have much to do with on-field eligibility, which would vacate competitive results. So long story short, it would be cool if Ohio State got their natty vacated, because what a story that is, but it doesn't seem super likely. Wow, that was fun as per usual. If only Maddie Brack was here for the first rundown of the season. But in our next segment, I'm going to be covering all the big games in college football from the last 2 weeks. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, sorry to interrupt your show, but I want to give you a little rundown of everything we do here at the Hitting the Field Network. My name's Nick Cohen, and I'm the host of Hitting the Field, our flagship show heading into season 21. Live streaming every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we talk about anything and everything sports. Tuesdays, we have season 3 of Girls Got Game. Hosts Katie Sue Christensen and Mia Flores discuss all the biggest topics in women's sports. On Wednesdays, make sure to tune into season 7 of The Combine, hosted once again by Ty Patton. This podcast dives deep into every detail about the NFL season. Next on Thursdays, we live stream season 11 of HGF Bets, brought to you by Andrew Gregg, Diego Ortiz, and Ben Huber. Any sports betting questions? I'll let the pros answer those on Thursday. Then TGIF, because we have new episodes of season 9 of Nighttime, hosted again by Matthew Bracker and Kathleen Moore. Nighttime keeps you up to date on all UCF and collegiate sports. And ultimately, Edgar Rodriguez and Patrick De Leon are back for season 2 of HTFC. Soccer is a year-round sport, so make sure not to miss HTFC. Lastly, end your week on Sundays with our vlog squad, asking the hard-hitting questions and letting you behind the scenes of our studio days. Make sure to follow us on our social medias like Instagram and TikTok to stay updated on all HTFN news. Remember to subscribe to the Hitting the Field Network on YouTube. Leave a like and comment, and with that, I think we're ready for your next segment. I've been Nick Cohen, and enjoy the rest of your show.
And welcome back. College football has been crazy over the last few weeks, and we have a lot to cover. So what better way to do so than another VO? Let's freaking go. Let's kick things off with Iowa State versus Kansas State. So this is a very exciting matchup. Obviously, two ranked teams, very exciting with Iowa State and Kansas State. Start out with Rocco Beck taking the snap. He steps back and he hurls a beauty downfield. And in double coverage, Brett Eskildsen hauls it in to take the lead. Fourth quarter, Kansas State down 2, scores, trying to close the gap. Johnson to Clemens. He's running, but nobody's catching that guy. Iowa State will take it 24-21. Now OSU, Texas. Fourth quarter, OSU trying to maintain the lead. Julian Sayin drops a beauty right into the arms of Carnell Tate in heavy coverage, 14-0. For the number 1 ranked Longhorns. Now Arch Manning trying to make Peyton and Eli proud. He makes a beautiful pass in last season Arch form to Parker Livingstone, but they fall and disappoints his entire family, 14-7. Now it's going to be FSU versus Nick Saban's Biatch. Fourth quarter, Bama is losing to unranked FSU. But look, Alabama D lineman Jordan Renaud is plowing through FSU and trying to close the gap with the tutty. 7 minutes left. Gavin Sawchuk gets the handoff, trying for the end zone. How is he still on his feet? But he makes it in. FSU takes the win over 8-ranked Bama, 31-17. Let's move on now. Former Game of the Week pick. Now screw you, Matthew. It's LSU versus Clemson. Third quarter, Cade Klubnik looking, and he throws. And it's picked off by LSU in a tie game scenario. Just barely in the fourth now, he steps back and fires. Tight end Trey Des Green. LSU wins and Matthew loses 17-10. All right, let's move on to UMiami versus Notre Dame. CJ Carr, he makes a dumb choice and throws in basically triple coverage. It's knocked into the air, almost intercepted, but eventually it is picked off by Miami and he runs it for yardage. Fighting Irish looking to take it here. Carr finds a gap and gets the tutty, but it is not enough and Carson Beck takes it 27-24. Bulls versus Gators now should be a no-brainer for an SEC team, right? Wrong. Keshawn Singleton makes the catch and no way. It's being caught. Touchdown, Bulls. 3 seconds left now. USF down by 1. The kick goes up and it is good. The Gators are officially losers by American Athletic Conference team. 18-6 Bulls. Florida, what happened? What happened? All right, let's go Cowboys versus Ducks now. Dante Moore looks and fires far downfield and Benson makes a beautiful catch for the Oregon touchdown. What a selly. Once again, the worser OSU tries to play football and gets intercepted by Jerry Mixon for the pick 6. The Ducks ate the Cowboys 69-3. Now, let's go to Andrew Montana's new home versus Mississippi State. In the second, Shaven is looking and throws a 40-yard dot to Thompson. Andrew Montana is down 17-0. Geez, I guess the formula is shaping to Thompson because this is another absolute dime and Andrew Montana loses the football game 24-20. Time for Old Blue and Oklahoma. We go to Haynes. Absolutely every single defender who ever had the hopes of playing football is trying to tackle him, but they cannot. 7-14. John Mateer looking to extend the lead, and he finds the gap, gets by everyone untouched for the tutty. Oklahoma takes this one 24-13. Now, SMU is clearly about to smoke Baylor, right? Wrong. Sawyer Robinson, who the F even is that? I don't even care. He just threw a 60-yard pass, and his receiver was still able to bring it in and score the tutty in double coverage. What the heck is happening? Baylor takes them to double overtime, and we are set for the 35-yarder, and it is perfect. Straight down the middle. Baylor takes down SMU 48-45. What an incredible, exciting set of games.
Whew, that was a lot.
Whew, so much. Well, everyone, welcome on Andrew Gregg, Nighttime Classic. He's going to help me dissect college football over the last 2 weeks. What'd you think?
I'm excited. I mean, you got me riled up with that VO, so I'm excited to see what we've got here.
So glad to hear it. So on this segment, we're going to be going over the winners, the losers and the surprises from the last 2 weeks, Andrew. Now, I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start us off. So my winner for the last 2 weeks is FSU. They are back. FSU is so back. I hate to say it. You know, you really hate to see it, but they are so back. And then my loser, Alabama, they lost to FSU. Nick Saban era truly is over. It's just looking sad for them at this point. My surprise, we're going back to FSU because who the heck would have expected this? Not I. Certainly not I. So FSU would be my surprise. Now, why don't we move to your picks, Andrew?
Yeah, so for my winner, I have the Miami Hurricanes, so the opposite side of the Florida little rivalry there. And then I'm sticking with Florida here as my loser, the Florida Gators, as they had a huge upset against USF, as you mentioned in your VO. And then my surprise pick is also FSU, just because of the fact that who would have expected it, right? They have as many wins through 2 games as they did all season last year, which obviously a very disappointing season. But I mean, to turn it around so quickly and to not only knock off Alabama, but then it's an FCS school to put up 77 points in the majority of their games combined last year. They didn't have 77 points. They actually didn't score more than 20 past the first week of the season. So
it's tragic. Now, Andrew, you are a Hurricanes fan. How are you feeling about Carson Beck?
Yeah, so the reason why I had them as such a big winner through the first 2 weeks of the season is the fact that they did knock off Notre Dame, who was number 6 in the country when that started off, and it was because of Carson Beck's great quarterback play. He made a lot of great throws. Malachi Toney, who's a true freshman out of actually Miami, would you have it? But he was one of the best players on that field. He was the leading receiver and is the leading receiver through 2 games. C.J. Daniels is a transfer from LSU, and he had that amazing one-handed catch that you saw. And then also this Miami offense isn't even at full strength, as the returning leading receiver from last year, Josiah Trader, isn't even playing right now because he's injured through the first 2 games. So I think that looking at the rest of the schedule, you see that 4 of their hardest 5 games are in the first 5 weeks of the season.
Right.
And if they're able to get through a stretch of FSU at FSU number 10 in the country, and then at home against Florida, they should be able to coast almost all the way into the college football playoff.
No, I tend to agree. So we need to talk about this Florida USF game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I mean, what do we think? Is USF actually a legitimate football team, or is this just luck of non-conference play?
I will say, I think that Florida probably undervalued how good of a USF team it is. Byron Brown is genuinely one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the nation, but I think that USF is legit, and as a Miami Hurricanes fan, I am scared going into this weekend. Obviously, it is a home game, and last year, with a different quarterback, we did destroy USF. It wasn't even relatively close, but we also had a different quarterback. Carson Beck is just a slight step down from Cam Ward last year, but our defense has also improved. So going into this game, I want to see Miami take it into the game with as much confidence as they need, but also not undervaluing how good USF is, because they obviously show that they can compete in against some of the best competition in the nation in Florida. Absolutely,
but that also brings us to the question, is UF just washed up now?
Yeah.
Are they done?
Well, I think that brings us into a couple of different questions, right? Is Billy Napier on the hot seat? Is DJ Lagway the guy? I mean, there's a lot of different things to look at here. They played 8 of the top 17 teams in the nation in their remaining 10 games, and the only 2 games that aren't against ranked opponents are against Mississippi State, who just beat Arizona State, the number 11 team in the country, and then Kentucky, who just gave Ole Miss, the number 17 team in the country, a very good game. So they don't have a single easy game the rest of their schedule. They go into they start non-conference play or conference play in 2 weeks, and they end non-conference play with a game against Miami.
Right. And with Billy Napier, if you look at his contract, he is set to still be with UF through 2029.
Yeah.
So if he's in the hot seat already, this is going to be a rough stretch.
Yeah, Billy Napier
for UF.
Billy Napier's been on the hot seat, I feel like, since he started at UF.
Right.
And winning 2 games, he's only going to be favored in 2 games the whole season. I don't know that that's going to put him make his seat any colder.
And an interesting discussion, too, is that, there is no room for error in SEC football.
Not at all.
Absolutely none. The conference is always stacked. Obviously, Bama was the biggest loser for me the past 2 weeks, but it's still Alabama football. They always get good recruits. They're always paying guys really well to stay. There's not really room for UF to have these kinds of slip-ups against USF.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, USF was supposed to be part of the non-conference schedule. That was the easy part. Obviously, they head into Miami in a couple weeks. And then also, just to list off their schedule, they play at number 3 LSU in Death Valley. They play at number 5 Miami. They play at home against number 7 Texas. They play at Texas A&M in order. That's all 4 straight games. Then they have a neutral site game against number 6 Georgia. They have a game at number 17 Ole Miss, a game home against number 15 Tennessee, and then finally number 10 Florida State away. So it's a tough schedule, and eight of the next 10 games are going to be against 17.
Right. I'm just not sure they can keep up at this point, so that's my take. But I want to talk about Matthew's picks. He must be represented. His winner with Oklahoma, he thought that John Mateer looked really solid, and they have an early resume builder against ranked Michigan. His loser is just Arch Manning. It's not necessarily Texas. It's literally just Arch Manning. He had the worst possible situation to start a season ever on the road against Ohio State and leading the #1 team in the country against the defending national champs. It's kind of a yikes there, but then his surprise was USF. USF, no doubt the best resume in all of college football after the first 2 weeks. They beat ranked Boise State in week 1 and then Florida in week 2. I don't know, it pains me to say it, quote unquote Matthew, they deserve their spot in the top 25, and if they somehow beat Miami, they could go undefeated and earn a spot in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't disagree. I think going into conference play, that's what matters as a group of 5 school at this point, and they will go into conference like a USA play as one of the favorites to come out of that conference. So with early resume builders like Boise State and obviously Florida now, I don't see a world in which if they don't win Conference USA, they don't make the playoff, which is super unfortunate as Knights fans, but
For sure.
Looks like the truth.
Absolutely, but I'm going to move on to the game of the week. It's that time. Matthew, you dirty little, he's not here to wear the chicken hat. I won. LSU won. Matthew lost. Clemson lost. I win. Cade Klubnik sucks. You're not here. What are we doing? Anyways, the game this week is Georgia versus Tennessee. It's going to be a really fun matchup. I'm going to go Vols on this.
Okay.
Because,
Rocky Top.
Yeah, absolutely Rocky Top. Vols are back. Joey Aguilar, he's going to expose Georgia as a team that almost lost to Austin. How do you say his last name?
Austin P.
Yes.
Austin PA.
Yes.
Something like that. One of those two.
Vols are back. They're going to take it. What do you think?
No, I think the complete opposite. I think Georgia wins this one rather easily. I think that Gunnar Stockton is way better than Joey Aguilar or whoever they're starting at quarterback this season. So I think number 6 Georgia takes it.
I guess we'll see. Matthew, unfortunately, you're not here to make a pick. That's your fault. You get to wear the chicken hat next time, because that is going to do it for this solo episode of Nighttime. Thank you to all the guests who came on today. Andrew, Nick, it's been really fun. We hope that Matthew survives his brutal sniffle attack and that he's back next week for more great nighttime content. But for now, I've been Kathleen Moore. See you in the next one.